Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group. Now, this is Wednesday, so that means this is tag a week, and this week's prompt is blue. Now, I originally had tried something else with watercolor and mixed media paper and gesso and other things that totally failed. And so I am out of time, and that's not an excuse, and this page is not going to be any worse for it, but I'm just letting you know that's why I'm not doing something similar to Miss P, which I found was beautiful. And she used the distress crayons. I tried that as well, which that part worked out fine. And so what we're going to do is a more traditional page with some maybe untraditional paper that you would see. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a kit called Mermaidia, and it's by Antique Papery, and you won't be able to find it anywhere, unfortunately, unless you're a member of the Antique Papery lifetime membership group. So if you are, then go into the discontinued folder, and then you'll find this kit in there, and it comes with a bunch of ephemera as well, which we're not going to be using. Now, what we're going to do, since we had the epic fail, I had already cut and inked the paper, and then I had already cut and inked a small pocket and put it on the bottom. I'm sure you know how to cut a rectangle and glue it to a piece of paper, so I don't think that that's going to be a problem. Okay, so that's our paper. So we're going to need that. We're going to need a backing paper. In this case, it's going to be cream to go with the colors on the page. And there's blue in the background. And it's from the Mermaidia paper as well. And then I had already cut this, and then I realized I probably should have shown you, but all I did was cut this into the shape of a big tag with extra on the side. We've got a 1/2 inch extra because we're going to make this into a flap, which is an actual door. It's going to cover the whole page. Okay, and I will show you here in a minute how we're going to do that, but basically you cut off the corner where you want, and then you flip it over and put it this way on the other side, and then you cut it along that, and then you've got matching sides. Okay, so now we've got this, and then we need paper for our tags. We're going to have 2 tags, and since it's mermaids, you know, they're mermaids. So what are you going to do? This paper you could use, in which the mermaids are wearing seaweed, and in the big pot, which I'm not sure why, unless somebody's going to be cooking them, in which case I find this slightly offensive. And I don't like this side of the paper because it says Egyptian liquid glue cement, and I'm not really sure what that has to do with this. So for me, this page is not a go. Now this page, on the other hand, I feel like shows the mermaids more representatively, except for the one that's doing embroidery, which I feel was a way to put something in her hands to keep her arm where they needed it to be. Having her hold seaweed or something probably would have been a better way to go. However, it's not my kit, it's not my page. She's doing embroidery. That's what she's doing. This mermaid back here doesn't have quite enough clothes on, but don't worry, but not to worry, we are going to be cutting her off the page. Now we're going to use this side for the other tag with our nice coral and some other coral, and then we're going to use a die. Let me see if I can, you can see it better on here. We're going to use a die to cut the tops of the tags, not this one, but the actual tags in this wave shape. We're also going to back them with cream colored paper because I forgot to print them on both sides, which if it doesn't work, I will put you on pause and print out another paper and print it out on both sides, and then we won't have to worry about it. We can just cut it with this. In this particular case, we're going to have to cut out 2 tags that are the same size as the ones that we're going to be using, which will actually be 2 tags out of the paper going this way, and then make the wave top to match the wave top on the top of the tag. So like I said, you're going to need your Sizzix Big Shot or some other die cutting machine to do this with. And I don't usually use washi to position my die. I've had good luck with just laying them on the paper and then putting them through. However, those are usually circles or squares or, you know, whatever. And this I need in a specific spot and in a specific direction. Really find it hard to say that word, and it's very early in the morning. So I am going to use the washi tape, I think, to hold it in place. Okay, so we're also going to use a charm on a bulb pin, okay, because there's nowhere to put an eyelet. And we're going to use some white / clear Velcro dots, and we're going to use a little bit of lace. That way we've got something to stick the charm to, so we have a charm on our page. And I'm not sure why I don't have the book. Oh, here it is. So we need to see what side the book opens to, so we know which side to attach. I'm hoping that I cut this out on the right side. If not, we'll use the opposite. I did happen to cut it out on the right side. Okay, so this is going to be page 3. So we'll put 3 here, and we'll put a 4 here, just for reference purposes. We're going to be adding papers to the outside, which means this will not end up being page 1. It will be somewhere in the middle, unless we add the papers inside, if we want this to be the cover. I digress. Anyway, so the paper's going to open out on this side, so we're going to attach our flap on this side, which makes it open this way, and that gives us somewhere to put our charm. Okay? I was like, where is the book? It's just still so small. I'm so used to Kyung's and I's page by page, which is up to like page 36. And we have 2 big fat signatures, and I just wasn't looking quite right. So what I did was I cut this one to, let's see, I believe it was 5 3/4 by 8 inches tall, or 8 1/4 possibly, the height of the page. Let's see. The height of the page is 8 1/4, but I don't remember whether I did 8 or 8 1/4. I did 8 1/4. So the pocket's going to cover the whole page. Then the reason it's the reason it is 5 3/4 and not 5 1/4 is because we're going to score it at 1/2 inch to make the flap, so we can attach it to the paper. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. Except I just dropped my scoreboard. I went to grab it and I knocked it over instead. Let's move our die and our charm. Oh, the charm is a little octopus. So actually it's a little squid. So I thought that fit right along with it. And I was going to use a blue bulb pin, but then I felt like with the gold charm it didn't really look right. Because I was going to go with the blue theme. I'm going to turn this around this way. And when I cut this, I cut it a little bit off each side so that I could get the mermaid in the center of our tag. Okay, so that's how you can tell what side to score, because it looks off a little bit. This is a similar method that Miss Paintalot is using in her ring bound journal. made of tag shaped pages. Okay, so we want to cut, or not cut, but we want to score it a 1/2 inch. She's folding over her pages to reinforce for the ring bound journal, whereas I'm making a book, which is pretty much different. We're going to fold that back. I forgot to mention that since this is a flap, I printed it on both sides, and I used the same paper as our backing paper, not our backing paper, but our page paper, to print it out so that when we open it up, it all looks like one big thing and you can write on it. Kind of going a little out of order. I apologize. I wrote it down a little out of order, and then I had the epic fail with the watercolors and the whatchamacallit paste, because it absorbs water. So when I went to do the watercolor on it, not only do I not know how to do watercolor, but the mixed media paper, even with the gesso on it, absorbed the water, so it didn't run like I wanted it to. But then the modeling paste absorbed water as well. I should have gone back and gessoed over that before I did it. So let's cut these 2 tags. Let's move this out of the way. Let's not cut the 2 tags. Let's put this on the page, which is what we were originally going to do. So now we're going to take our paper. This is our backing paper. So we can set that to the side. I got all kinds of sides going on here. And then let's measure it and make sure. So you're going to see the corners of the paper. And since I didn't cut it in the tag shape before I did the 1/2 inch, they're going to be off. But that's okay with me. I don't feel like every tag has to be, the angle is correct, but the size is different. So like I said, that's okay with me. This looks like it's a smidge shorter as well, which is fine with me as well. So let's turn this over, and we want to glue it to the paper, over the pocket, straight across the bottom, and even on the end, where it goes in, so that it folds evenly. So this is going to be interesting. If we have to, we'll move it up a little bit so that it doesn't go clear to the bottom. And we'll open it back up and let the glue dry, and then we'll cut it if it doesn't work. I'm not trying to be defeatist. I'm just saying if it doesn't work. Seems to me like it would. And I'm using Fabri-Tac, so that gives me a little bit of glue, of dry time. If you're going to print on an envelope, on a side note, do not use art glitter glue. If you have any glue overage, the paper that envelopes are made out of, it will smear your print. So I'm going to have a tutorial coming out on how to print on envelopes, which was inspired by someone else online, and I can't remember who it was, and I apologize. I think that's the pocket that's off a little bit on the bottom. So let's line that up, and we'll line it up with the page. Actually, that looks straight. No, it's not. So we need to open this back up. And then we need to move it over like that. And then we'll put it back down. And now that should be straight. Yes, it is. And it's pretty much crooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim a little bit off of the tag, which I forgot to ink. I told you I had that epic fail and it just threw me for a loop. Usually when I plan stuff out ahead of time, I'm using vintage photo because of the brown on here, and I'm just doing a very light inking to get the white off the edges of the page. And I want you guys to remind me to ink the tags. Okay, so we'll leave that out. So let's flip this over and you can see where it's crooked. So let's just trim that off a little bit. Let's make sure we didn't trim on the bottom of our pocket off. Nope, we had enough glue on there. Okay, now that's straight. Everybody's straight, everybody's happy. So now we're going to, let's go ahead and put the lace on here. This lace isn't very thick and I don't feel like it needs to be. We're just gonna, we need to figure out the length, or approximately the length. We can always trim it just a little bit if we need to. Let's make sure we've got this on this end. Actually, we can just, we'll just pull it down and trim anything off the bottom that we need to trim. So let's put our little bead of glue along the edge. Let's open it up so we don't glue it shut. And put our little bead of glue down here. You don't need a lot to hold this light of lace. And by light, I mean thin and delicate. And I probably should have had a long enough piece to run it up and around. You know, I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's cut a longer piece. It's long enough to do both. And run our little bead of glue up here. That would have just not looked right if we hadn't. Let's kind of refresh our glue down here. It's still tacky, but you know, it's not in style. It's just kind of tacky. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. Bad joke number one, and I laughed at it. So, there you go. If you're not going to laugh at your own bad jokes, who is going to laugh at them for you? This is what I want to know. So let's run it up and around. And we're probably going to have to hold this right here for just a second. Let's go down here and make sure that our, I think I need to move this way a little bit. We'll have a little more sticking off to stick our charm to. Then we'll go back and make sure that it's straight. Little spot that's crooked. We'll make sure this is glued down. And then we'll trim the ends. And I'm going to trim this straight across to the top of the page, she says confidently. Oh, come on. And I'll cut it off at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to double check that the glue goes all the way. That seemed like it moved. Yeah, I could use a little. Oh my gosh. I'm making a lot of noise at 5:30 in the morning for the neighbor. I'm pretty sure he probably does not appreciate it. We do still have that little bit of a crooked area right here, so let's go ahead and fix that before the glue completely dries. I think I'm pushing it the wrong way. I think I need to pull this whole thing over. You know what I mean? Make it straight this way. There we go. So now we have our lace down the one side. And what we'll do is we'll put the bulb pin and the charm up here. But we'll do that last. Now we want to make sure that our tags are small enough that they slide over. Because if we don't, then when we put the Velcro dot, which actually we could put it at the top to hold it shut, or at the bottom over the pocket. Let's put it over the pocket. That would be a little bit better, because then when you go to open it, it will be at the bottom. Okay, let's go ahead and do that before we forget. And let's get it positioned in the right place. And I thought we would get the easy part done first. In case I have another epic fail, we can fix it by making the tags shorter. Not having very good luck with this page. Okay, I'm going to want the white edge up here. So let's put the clear one here. Move that over so they're directly on top of each other. When I pulled it apart, it kind of moved it a little bit, and then we push it down, and then they're attached together. That's going to make it a little difficult to open because the lace kind of covers the fact that it opens. So when you make yours, you might want to make it a little bit shorter so that it's obvious that it opens. Okay, we've already put the lace on here, so if we trimmed it, we would have to trim it back this far, and then the edge wouldn't look right either. It would be really different than this side over here. Okay, I'm also wondering if we shouldn't put lace across here and across the top. So let me think about that, and if we do need to, then we can. It looks like the top of this page is a little crooked like the bottom was. Don't really notice it. If it is, then I'll... No, I think it's the way it's inked. Okay. All right, we'll put these away. I'm all about putting stuff away, as you know. as we do. Okay, let's put the top back on here, which I do consistently forget to do. I can't even do this morning. Okay, I'm almost afraid to get the big shot out, so let's set this to the side. You could glue it to the backing paper, but let's see how the rest of this goes. So we've got our cream colored paper. And the glue's dry on this, so we can use it for something else. You know, maybe instead of using the wave dye, maybe we could put lace across the top so that it matches the front page. I actually kind of like that idea better. We're not going to cut holes in the tags. I've already decided. We are going to back them. And there's kind of a trick to that, and I am not very good at it. So we will see. Now, I want this first tag to be 4 by 7. So see, that's going to cut off our bosomy mermaid. And I'm going to cut the 7 inches, to the 7 inches at the top, so that we keep our mermaids. We don't cut them off. So we're just going to flip the paper around and cut it off the top. Okay. And then we're going to cut this 1/8 of an inch larger. So that's going to be 4 1/8 by 7 1/8. And I have to get another piece of cream colored paper, I think. Maybe not for our smaller tag. This is going to be 7 1/8. Let's see if I can see this. And I apologize, I'm a little sniffly. Okay, let's check it against this, that it's just a smidge bigger all the way around. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to trim the backing paper to the tag. Then we're going to pull the tag paper up and trim it to the same. And I think an easier way to do that would be to take the offcut piece and put it on the corner of our tag. Our picture part. And I think I'm going to try it that way. So let's take and cut this side where we want it. I'll take this piece, put it on the other side, cut it. You know, you flip it around. I had it on there perfectly until I picked it up. Okay. Then you cut it right along there. And since we want the angle to be the same, then we'll take this corner from here and we'll trim this tag off the same angle. Pretty sure this is going to work. This page is a little bit smaller, so it'll cut out a little bit smaller, but the angle should still be the same. Let's use this cream colored one. Let's use this one and flip it over. Cut the other side. It's a smidge off, but hopefully it won't be too bad. And then we'll put this paper in here, and voila, it worked. Okay, so let's glue this to that. Let's ink everything. Or we're not inking the backing paper on the page. What do you guys think? Should we only ink this? I don't want to glue it on there without deciding. Well, actually I could. Because it will be the outside edge. Well, I think we better ink it because we're going to have to ink the back side of it. So we're going to try to do it just a little bit. Well, so much for that idea. Started using these domed pads. Saw a few other people using them, among them Kyung Shotwell, my friend. And I like them as well. I wasn't sure whether I would or not. So we'll do that. This one, we have to ink the back of it. We can't do this inking until we cut it, so that's why I couldn't ink it ahead of time. Then we're going to do the other tag the same way, only a little bit smaller. They're not going to be exciting tags. It's not going to be an exciting page, but you will learn how to make the paper and the border paper around it at the same angle. Okay, so let's glue this paper to the cream colored paper. The leg bone's connected to the, what, thigh bone? I don't know why they say that. It doesn't seem quite right. Seems like your whole leg is your whole leg. All right, let's just say your foot bones are connected to your ankle bones. How about that? And just say foot bones. I don't even know what those are called. Well, I'm just going to give up on that song. How about that? Bad song reference. And not as in like bad joke reference where the reference is to a bad item. This is the second time I've dropped the glue, just in case you're keeping track. So we're going to glue this on with just a little bit of a border all the way around. Probably should have done it the other way because flipping it over makes it backwards. But it's not bad. The other way is to, well, I guess that is the way. Because you need to trim this first, but it has to be at the same angle as that one. So you have to cut this one first and then cut this one second. So I must have been off a little bit on my cut. Okay, so we're going to do the second one the same way. We're going to cut it 3.5 by 6. I really don't want to have to figure that out. Oh, 3 3/8. Oh, no, we want a quarter, so it's 1/8 of an inch. No, 1/8 of an inch, so it's a 16. That's why it looks funny, because that made it. If we trimmed the corners of the cream colored paper, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because I don't want. You could do it, you know what I mean? You could trim this and re-ink it and make it closer, because this ended up being an 1/8 and this ended up being a 16th. We could have also cut a little bit off the top of the tag, the colored part. Before we glued them together, we could have cut 1/8 off, and then it would have lined up all the way around. So we'll have to try that. On our coral page, we're going to want this to be on this side. So when we cut the width, we're going to turn it upside down, and we want it to be, oh no, we don't want this to be any bigger, so we want this to be 3 1/4, and that's going to work out well. Oh, and then we need a cream piece of paper, 3 3/8. Oh, and we need to adjust the height on this. The height is going to be 6 inches. And we want to cut that off the top. Let's see if we make it 6 1/2, then we don't cut off the coral. So let's make it 6 1/2. That'll be a 1/2 inch smaller than the big one, which is fine with me. So then we're going to cut this one to 6 3/8. Did we cut the width? The width is to be 3 1/2, so that's 3 3/8. That'll work. Oh no, 3 1/2. It's going to be 3 5/8, which will still work. Yay, we don't have to use another piece of paper. No yay that my hands are not working this morning. I apologize. It's taken forever to cut a piece of paper. And then we want it to be 6 inches tall, so we want 6 1/8. That will give us a 16th all the way around. And we can cut this angle separately. It doesn't have to be the same angle as this, even though we could use it to cut the angle and make it the same. Maybe we should. And it'll be a little more extreme because this is a smaller tag. What am I doing? Does anybody know what I'm doing? No. Now, even though that one came out a little bit wrong, we're going to do the same mistake so that they look the same. Okay, so we're going to take this piece, and I'm going to use the cream color so I can see it better. Cut the angle for our tag. We're going to just nip the corner of that piece of coral. Okay, and we're going to take this, let's use the same template, and flip it over, line it up and cut it. And then we're going to ink both of them, glue it together, and then we'll be done. Well, we'll glue the page to the back, or the paper to the backing page, and the backing page to the book. How did I not? Oh, I didn't adjust the height correctly. So, looks like we need to shorten the bottom. Yeah, this is too wide, and this is too tall. So let's measure how much we want to cut off. We'll measure it from here. I don't know how I managed to do that. It was probably those eighths of, oh, I didn't take the 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. I only took it off the sides. I think that's probably what happened. So let's take an 1/8 of an inch, which is about what that looks like. Oh, that's 1/4 of an inch. Let's take an 1/8 off and look at it. And I think actually that's going to be correct. So I think that was the mistake that I made. No, it looks like it really is 1/4. Let's move it down to where we want it. Which is actually a little shorter than my original mark. I don't work well in a mess. We don't need the ugly washi tape. I used the ugliest one I had because I know I'll never use it when I'm using it to hold dye or something else down, like on my big shot. Sometimes I have to glue the paper down. I apologize that my heater turned off, but it's cold in here otherwise. Okay. So now we have to ink them front and back quickly. I wish there had been a way to put the Velcro higher up. If I'd have waited, we could have looked at the tags and seen if we had enough room to move them over. We still can do that. And remember, we have to ink this on the back. Now, I'm probably going to stencil the back, But you guys have seen me stencil 100 times. So I'm gonna do that after this. But before I post pictures. Did I ink that? Yes. It's actually a little warm in here now. Using that lace on my Wizard of Oz book that I'm working on now. And I'm actually giving that book away in a contest. If you watch the Wizard of Oz tutorial, you'll know how you can win that book. So, a little plug. But I'm happy. I just got 1,000 subscribers. That makes me very happy. I said to myself, if I ever got to 1,000, that would be plenty. And I would be happy with that. And I am. I would like to get more now, of course. And new people that watch this video and see me for the first time, if you go over to that video and subscribe, or no, it doesn't matter. You can subscribe on any video. As long as you're a subscriber, then you can enter the giveaway. And the book isn't done. So the tutorial is ongoing, so you get to see the book that you're going to get a chance to win. Now this definitely needs to be trimmed. Let's see about moving it over just a little bit. That looks a little bit better. At least it's off equally on both sides. Okay, so we have that tag, and we're going to stencil them on the back. And we're going to put them on our page, or in our page. Yeah, that's a problem with the Velcro. I'm wondering if that wouldn't just stay shut without it. Let's take it off and see. I think it probably would, because they're just tags. It's not anything big. Sorry about that. I have timers for everything. That was the timer to remind me to upload this video. So there you go. Apparently I'm a little late. Yeah, see, we wouldn't have been able to that's pretty. I like it. You take this tag out and it reveals the mermaids. This says Mermaidia. I wish I had made it a little bit shorter, I think, to make it more obvious that you open it. Of course, the lace is there. Oh, let's put the pin. With our squid on. Can't believe this is giving me so much trouble. I'm trying to put it through the very edge of the paper as well. I think I'm just going to put it in the lace. Yeah, I'm putting it through the glue, so that will help, because it gives it a little bit of thickness. I forgot to tell you, I'm not very good at pins either. There we go. And that has our squid on it from under the sea. Probably should have waited actually to do that. I just didn't want to forget. and glue this on our backing paper. Then we'll put it in our book, and we will call this video in the bag. Well, in the book in the bag. I can't believe I had so much trouble with that paper. Then I tried watercolor paper, which you would have thought would have worked, but I've never done watercolor before, and so it was an epic fail as well. It just looked like a 2-year-old had scribbled on the page, which is nice that people would think I was younger, but 2, maybe a bit much. Put that on there. We have to be careful with our lace. It's still not quite dry. And then we'll glue this into our book, which is somewhere. Here it is. We're going to do 52 weeks of this. I'm following along. The prompt is from the Miss Paintalot Facebook groups series of tags. Like I said, she's making a ring bound book that looks like tags, and I'm making a regular book with tags in it for reference on different ways to make tags. So that's why I'm making videos. Of course, I record everything. I don't make anything without recording it, pretty much, just so you guys know. I wasn't going to record the Wizard of Oz. All I was going to do was craft along with my friends so that I could make the book without recording. And I ended up doing a bunch of it without them, and I started recording it. It's not my fault. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Up just a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. Maybe up a little bit more. That's better. Okay, so that's our page, and since that's our page, then that's our video, and I will see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye bye.